Hello and welcome, ladies and gents, back to Ne0 Gets. It's been a hot minute since we've done one of these, but I thought, to start things off, we'll bring on a guest, a guy that I've kind of known of for a while now as well. We followed each other for ages. Innersh1ne, thank you very much for joining me. First of all, we'll start with nice and easy one. How you doing? Are you okay?
All good. Nice to see you. Happy to be here.
Love to see
Let's
it.
go.
Let's start with the easiest, but I guess at the same time the hardest question. What's your story into esports? How did you get involved? Where did it all begin for you? From I guess some people it's like a young kid playing in like internet cafes or playing on their dad's PC. Where did it all start for you?
Yeah, I kind of never played professional Counter-Strike. When I entered Counter-Strike scene, it's been kind of, I was old already. So, yeah, I started with creating some content. Was like maybe 5 years ago or something. Uh, then somehow managed like just to explore new stuff and get more experience. Managed to start my analyst career in small teams. Then, yeah, then mouse sports picked up, and it's kind of has been rolling since then
So
pretty quickly.
talking about the analyst stuff as well, what was that jump up like from going from like just content and your own sort of stuff and sort of in a way kind of working for yourself, then into what is a big team? I mean, I'm looking at some of your earlier teams. Gamer Legion was like one of the ones in there who obviously were a small team back then. But what was it like, kind of jumping from content into a full time sort of analyst role? Was that pretty daunting, pretty tough, or was it okay for you?
I think it was interesting, first of all, to be honest, because like every time I switched team from like lower level to higher, like smoke criminals, game religions, and mouse sports, then everything else is kind of uh, high level uh, mouse sports. And after, it was pretty different levels of Counter Strike, and so it's like the like fun fact was that I thought I understand something in CS, then I go into game religion, I understand nothing. All right, I learned something, and then like again and again. So I think it's been happening like till Face Clan. Kind of in Face Clan, I managed to master some uh, points of my work, and yeah, that's been easier after, but it was fun.
And what would you say as well for those who like don't really know? When you were an analyst, for example, what is the day to day of an analyst? What is sort of an average day for you? Let's say an average day when your team, whatever team that is at a tournament. What is a sort of an average day for you?
Depends on the team needs, obviously, always, but it's somewhere between uh, going through stats or just preparing new stuff for our game where we need it, or reviewing our own game for mistakes. Like depends on availability. To be honest, like you always have to juggle when it's tier one level. You always have like lag time and
Mm-hmm.
have to juggle. So uh, it kind of it's a very specific thing due to team structure because like obviously like each team is unique and uh, different teams have different needs
Fair
basically.
enough. And I guess these days as well, it seems like Skybox has become quite a big thing in terms of helping analysts with just preparation. Is this something that you've used at all, and something that you kind of recommend? I guess people trying to improve.
For now I use mix of Skybox and Noises because
Mm-hmm.
Noises is like still more valuable at some points.
Sure.
uh, but Skybox is a pretty useful thing, I would say. It saves a lot of time,
Yeah.
uh, especially like when we talk about work in between of tournaments, like basically practice stuff and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because there are a bunch of useful things. Mm, I think, to be honest, it's kind of overpriced because it's an expensive
Sure.
uh, subscription, I would say. But they're doing good job. Like they use their like exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and the most important thing is that they've been developing more and more. So like they're improving their servers. Then it's fine. It's becoming more valuable. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, fair enough. And then, okay, the move went from analyst to coach. When did that decision come about where you're like, actually, I want to be sort of in charge of a team now? When for you did you kind of want to make, I guess in a way, that step up in towards being a team coach? And why did you go
Oh,
for that step up?
yeah. I mean, my career is about like looking for new challenges,
Sure.
always. And I think at some point it was maybe a late 2022 or something like this. During my time in Face Clan, I decided that later or sooner I want to try myself as a coach,
Mm.
and I've been just waiting for a right opportunity. Uh, yeah, maybe I had to wait a bit more.
And when you were an analyst, was it one of those things for you where you had seen other coaches, maybe not so much like the Faze coach, but like coaches in other teams, and you were kind of thinking, actually, I reckon I can do this better?
Yes, I
Okay.
think yes. To be honest, uh, but like I think there are like several really good coaches.
Mm.
Like first of all, we have to divide coaches and basically like strong tactical coaches and
Sure.
like really good motivational coaches that like uh, affect team uh, vibe, team atmosphere, like solving communication problems a lot. Uh, so yeah, I think I had a chance to learn some things from one of the best
Sure.
coaches of the second type in the world, Robin. I actually think he's the best. But yes, I think like to be honest, how to say? Sorry for the pause. I
That's
think
okay.
it's like right now I feel myself that I'm a bit above than like an average coach, I would say,
Okay.
without going too deep. But like uh, frankly speaking, without like having experience, it's hard.
Sure.
So yeah, my goal was initially just to get some experience as a coach. Aurora wasn't a quite real experience in general due to a bunch of factors. But Bad Boom story was quite good for me, even if it was just like half year or something like this.
Sure. What was it like though, going from what was like analyst of Phase and a huge organization, a lot of moving parts, big players, big tournaments, to then Aurora, who obviously for me I do a lot of the tier two stuff, and these guys are a very good tier two team, and even when you were there as well, very solid team, but it is primarily online and primarily from home. Was that kind of a bit underwhelming in a way, or was it like an exciting challenge to go from what is a humongous organization and a very well performing side to then an Aurora side who are just looking for LAN opportunities as much as they can get?
Yeah, like for many people from outside, it was kind of a downgrade,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I just move my way. So uh, I think it was kind of exciting for me, yes, but I didn't expect. It's a bit, it's totally different thing, like tier one, tier two levels, and with that online schedule and different like uh, different everything. I would say I don't know. It's hard to say. Also, like taking into account that basically CIS, uh, CS is a team structure, like and everywhere it's always different.
Sure.
Like the national teams, international teams is a different story. I think like it can be applied to any nation. Like Swedish team should be very different, like to Russian and like to any international European team. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't expect that many things to change, and it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, exciting challenge, but it was not easy at all.
It's just fair enough. And just kind of rolling it back a little bit, I want to talk about where did your opportunities come from? So you kind of had Smoke Criminals as, at least on your Wikipedia, sort of the first team name there, right? Then we
Yes,
got
it's
Gamer
true.
Legion after that as a trial, then as kind of a full-time analyst. And then, as we start to move forward, it actually, scales up quite quickly. You spoke about Mouse Sports and then Phase. How did each opportunity come? How did the kind of the Gamer Legion one come? and then following Gamer Legion in towards what was a kind of a bigger team of Mouse Sports, and even arguably a bigger team. You know, the running
Yeah.
joke is Mouse Sports are kind of like Faze's academy team these days, right? But how did those sort of opportunities come about for you, and was it kind of you approaching them or vice versa?
It was really hard in the beginning, to be honest, because I just when it was Smoke Criminals and later Gamer Legion,
Mm,
I was just bombing hundreds of teams. I
sure.
think like basically I took all the Liquipedia teams, ECA teams, and like I was just emailing, spamming them.
Yeah.
Uh, it was very challenging because I think out of like 200 emails, maybe Twitter messages, whatever, I got both times just several answers. Like for Smoke Criminals, it was kind of like it was something, something to start with.
Yeah.
And the fun fact that it's like uh, IGL, Fierce. Uh, I don't know, like pretty likely it's not a really known name in CS, but now he is like one of the best IGLs in Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
He's been playing for Apex and Liquid.
Yep.
Uh, yes, it was just something to start with, and then the same, the same, repeat, 200 emails after Smoke Criminals disband, and I think I got a couple of answers. It was Norse and Game Religion, and
Okay.
in the end it worked out with Game Religion. So after that, I just was in the right time, in the right moment. I mean, in Game Religion, it became harder when the team switched from international to Swedish. So the communication wise with IGL and like coach in general, it was tough.
Sure.
Uh, then it was like I was in the right moment, in a right place to meet Regin, and
Mm.
they were looking to hire an analyst. I got like something like 3 months trial, I think, in most sports in the March 20,
Mm.
I don't know, 2020, something like this. Uh, yeah, after successful trial, it was just like, okay, you're on board, super. And then the coach bug scandal happened,
Of
and
course. Yeah.
yes, it affected. I think it sounds funny, but like it affected my career a lot in a positive way
Okay.
because Regin was one of the coaches that got under the ban, a
Mm-hmm.
long time ban. So yes, at some point we basically lost the coach, and I became like I was like just basically an intern
Sure.
for Regin at this time, but like then Regin departed Mouse Sports and Kerrigan needed more help, and we became basically a bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was departing to Face, I knew my contract with Mouse also was close to expire, and yes, he was just happy to see me in Face with him. It
Yep.
was like I think a big achievement for me to have trust. I think I didn't like fully understand it at the moment like 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was everything was like a bit blurry for me because I just still was very young in terms of Counter Strike career,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize many things like for 100%.
Sure.
So yes, it was like now I understand that like, it was a big achievement for me to get a trust of Kerrigan. So he brings me uh, visit with him to a new team, and it was like
Okay.
yeah, that was big.
So essentially when he moved from Miles to FaZe, he's kind of said to FaZe, I think you should bring Innersh1ne kind of over as well, and he was a big
Uh,
part of that,
I
or was
think
it?
like we got kind of short conversation because I was exploring opportunities after
Sure.
potential opportunities after expiring of Mouse contract, and then yes, I mean who could decline Face at this moment? And like yeah,
Yeah. It's very true. It's very, very true. I guess just a brief on to touch on because you kind of brought it up, but I didn't even really think about it at the time. Was when the coach bug was happening, for people who were sort of I guess in not involved in a way, but you were alongside someone who ended up getting banned. Was there any sort of indication at the time what was going on? Like Raging, of course, was one of the ones who used it quite a bit. Did you know like what was happening at the time that this was going to be a big issue, or did people like really underestimate what the effects of the coach bug was going to be?
Hard to say. I didn't think too much about it. It
Mhm.
was like just like a quite sudden thing in general, and yeah, I was stunned
Yeah,
to be honest,
yeah, I
and
can imagine.
it was I just didn't think too much about it. So yeah,
Fair enough. We'll move on to Bet Boom for a little bit as well. You spoke, kind of said how things went quite well for the time you were in there, but I guess what went wrong? How come things sort of ended there? Where for you, I guess it was a semi kind of brief stint in a way on Bet Boom. What do you think sort of went wrong in that sense?
I mean, I can't say like looking back, I had my time to reflect on everything, and I was a bit uh, too harsh on myself after
Okay.
uh, they kicked me from Bad Boom, basically. Uh, but like looking back now, I would say not much thing was were like too wrong. Maybe I had to be stricter, but like the thing is, I came to Bad Boom like
Mhm.
there should be like basically there are two types of coaching ways to coach, right?
Yeah.
Is authority, like when coach is controlling everything, and when it's like coach is a mm, like a bit higher or like on the same level as IGL, you
Sure.
know. Uh, yes, and I had like this experience basically, like some point in Phase, because like Kerrigan has been doing always like a big volume of work,
Hmm.
and like he cares the team a lot about the team a lot, and like if it's like 3 a.m. and I opening Google Docs with a playbook,
Yeah.
here's a Kerrigan. No, obviously it's obviously here's it. So basically, yeah. And I was coming to Bad Boom uh, after the initial talk with Ne0 that I would be that type of a coach, basically that I would be uh, helping him a lot, I would
Hmm.
say, and not overtaking everything like fully. I think that was a mistake, to be honest, done by me.
Hmm.
Uh, but mm, I don't know if I could avoid it, uh, because I had not enough experience, let's say.
Sure.
Now I know it. I didn't know it in a year ago. So
Yeah.
yes, uh, that was a mistake. That's something that went wrong. To took I had to take, sorry, more responsibility in general, like way more control than I took. But like I put my trust in uh, initial system, and
Sure.
it hit me in the end. So
It's
yeah,
fair enough.
I got a victim of my decision, basically. I would say
Yeah.
so.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
It
Well, I
is.
guess we'll move on to kind of brighter pastures, right? You've been now with Furia for the last kind of just shy of 4 months or so. Sort of, how did that opportunity come around for you, Furia? It's a big change as well, moving, well, I guess, sort of going from a European team to a South American team, but also, how's it been going as well?
I mean, after my departure from Bad Boom, uh, I think I spent several months uh, in searching for a new team.
Mm-hmm.
I took like some time to reflect what I want next. I had several opportunities, but I decided that it's not something I want to. I was interested, I think, in joining Kents. They were hiring an analyst because, like, for me, it was like not. Uh, I My point of view after I departed Boom was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I don't really give a fuck if it's head coach position, assistant coach position, analyst position, general manager.
Yeah.
It has to be a project, just a good project with right people, with right direction.
Sure.
Uh, yes, and those that was the logic. With that approach, I was choosing my next
Hmm.
team. Uh, I think it was kind of successful tryouts in us, but they declined to hire me because of my passport. So
Sure.
yes, happens
Yeah.
in
Like
2024.
visa issues and that kind of thing.
No, I think
Ah,
it's
right. I get the
just
other side.
yes,
Yeah.
not like visa. Visa is not the issue. So
Yeah.
never.
Geopolitical issues, we'll call them.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is how it is. Uh, I was helping. Then I was helping for a small team as a coach, basically like consultant coach,
Sure.
whatever. Uh, Russian team DMS. I
Oh
think
yeah.
they have some potential.
Yeah.
Potential. Yeah. Uh, in the summer break, I think in the end of summer break, Furia reached out to me, Gary, and like said they're looking to hire basically uh, two assistant coaches, promote Sida to main to head coach,
Hmm.
and then like I was kind of surprised with their approach because they wanted one assistant coach for CT side, basically for defense, and one assistant coach for T side.
Wow. Okay.
They offered me a position of T side assistant coach,
Hmm.
and yeah, I just initially I just liked the structure of coaching stuff because it was it's interesting and people haven't tried it too much.
Hmm.
Okay, why not? Uh, and then some crucial things were also like for me important. If Kesserat and Yuri staying in the team, if who is the new player, fifth,
Hmm.
I when I got answers for these questions, okay, yeah, sounds good because like the roster look promising.
Sure.
To be honest, the project look conscious. I would say the best word here, and yeah, why not? It was
Yeah.
kind of. I think now I think I did a right decision to
Hmm.
join them because yeah, it's been going good.
Yeah, and I guess as well, we kind of touched on that with the analyst thing, but I guess now talk me through as a T side assistant coach. What's sort of the day to day for you? How does your sort of average look like when it comes to kind of practice? I guess in sort of reviewing and structure and stuff. Obviously, you've got just one side to focus on. Does that make your life a little easier, or in a way harder? But
This makes my life much easier. To be
okay,
honest, that was like my initial questions. How uh, how easy my life would be if I take care only just on one side. Yes, it's super nice
mm,
because it's not like about like amount of work you have because there are a lot of work always.
yeah,
I mean, with three people in coaching stuff, I think you can cover almost everything. Uh,
mm,
Maybe like three people and some freelancing, one freelancer.
mm,
That's like full coverage. But like uh, in the current state of CS development, as a like professional teams scene in general, I would say that it's impossible to cover everything
sure.
with just coach and assistant coach or analyst. So basically, two people, uh, not enough at all.
Fair enough. And I
Yes,
guess as well, you've worked in big teams like Faze before, for example.
yeah.
But what's the vibe like working with Fury? I mean, insanely kind of popular team, massive fan base, a lot of pressure there. Are you enjoying kind of working with a team of that sort of caliber?
Uh, I enjoy my work here. Yes, I don't think too much about pressure. Like
Sure.
I kind of uh, consistent mentality. Let's say I don't know the best wording here. So like I'm pretty calm person in general, and like I'm very stress resistant. So in general, like yeah, work is work in the end. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Fair
uh,
enough.
talking about like my responsibilities here, uh, I think it took some time, obviously, to
Hmm.
have a better understanding of the team needs of ball and play style, and like because a lot of things changed for Furia, I would say, uh, because Art and Fallen, uh, those two in-game leaders, they're just almost complete opposite in
Okay.
terms of play style. And I would say after like several years playing with art and like classic Brazilian CS,
Hmm.
it's been hard uh, a bit in the beginning for people to adjust like fallen
Sure.
approach, who is very like slow paced in game leader in general, uh, like very default oriented, very conscious plays, you know. And mm, I think for now I've been working a lot of in 1v1s with players
Okay.
and improving like focusing on their needs, improving like uh, their individual
Hmm.
stuff. Besides it, I'm just together with like see it, lose it, fall, and we are working on a general big picture of
Hmm.
our play, basically on a playbook, on how we approach particular maps. Again, it helps a lot to just set a better focus for practice because like we always have something to do, to change, to practice, to
Sure.
improve, and like because of us three working on it and Fallen working as well, and like every player uh, bringing some impact in discussions, playbook. So it's like we always have things to improve. Like we don't waste our time on practice at all. I would say
Okay.
it's kind of important. I would say
Yeah.
yes, and it's like it's been a bit surprising for me for Brazilians, yes, because like I think uh, how to say uh, the team, the players uh, have been like they didn't get used to paying attention to some small details in game
Hmm.
uh, because I don't know. I think it's like because of previous experience on the specific of the scene of the like national scene
Okay.
or of the team, and yeah, huge improvements. It's kind of now the work is way easier, I would say, than it was 3 months ago, and
Sure. And I guess the big question with Furia is always been trophies, right? Silverware, right? This is a side who have got immense amount of talent, but unfortunately, maybe not so much the cabinet to kind of, I guess, show that in a way. So, I mean, a question that I saw a couple of people like asking towards yourself is sort of how are you going to help this side? What do you think needs to really be kind of changed, I guess, for Furia to start once again contending for trophies? Because they had a few with like Elisa, for example, but to get the big silverware under their belt, what do you think kind of is required to get this Furia side to be a top title contending team?
to be honest, I think we just need a bit more time
Mm-hmm.
because uh, let's say the goals for for the season uh, are to basically uh, to be able to qualify
Sure.
for playoff of every tournament. So we are like not like out every tournament 16s, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to be in playoffs, and we want to come back to top 10
Okay.
and basically and to qualify for playoffs of the major. So that's kind of it. Mm, I think been it's a bit earlier to talk about trophies. I was that was my opinion, to be honest.
Sure.
But then I am really what happened. Like we had some like before. We had good results in prax in general, but we lacked something, maybe some mental consistency, some like experience as a team. You know, even if like we have experienced players, team experience is a different uh, thing in general
Sure.
because like it something that involves 5 players coach, like 5 players and coach, let's say, yes,
Mm-hmm.
primarily like just 5 players on server, and obviously the it was upward direction for us,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and mm, after some time we managed to uh, transfer our prac results and prac play style, basically how we approach the game in the pracs. We in IEM Rio in the end we managed to apply everything we want in the group stage, and it was the result was kind of shocking to be honest because mm, that's why I mean to conclude that
Yeah.
my thought about it, that that's the moment I changed my opinion about trophies because I was initially thinking that obviously in the current condition of like professional sim, we have a lot of good teams. We have a lot of like basically teams of high level and
Sure.
several title contenders, basically like Vitality, uh, Navi, Mouse, Spirit from
Hmm.
time to time. Not sure they still missing consistency,
Hmm.
and it's like always hard. I think it's for any team. It's hard to talk about trophies, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Uh, but I think if we manage to keep our like progress and like to find consistency that we had in a group stage in IEM Rio, we can talk about trophies sometime soon.
Yeah,
Let's say.
fair enough. And how was IEM Rio as well? Obviously, for you guys, kind of a domestic tournament in a way, which is relatively rare to have kind of those big estate tournaments, kind of normally about one a year at most, sort of thing. So how was it, kind of having that IEM Rio run top four, kind of a bit of a
I mean,
fairy tale as well?
to be honest, like I had no expectations of us coming to Rio because like we were kind of seated in a group of death, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, and like looking at the group we had like Liquid, Navi,
Yeah,
Mouse, and I think Pain, Complexity, and someone else.
sure.
Uh, Not sure. Yes, it was like, oh, okay. Actually, like, yeah, I don't know. We could end 16th, like, especially like with BO1 opening match.
Yeah,
It's kind of random. So sometime at some point, like, depends on a team on a matchup on the map, but like sometimes it's a bit messy. Yeah. So I think like there was a chance like that we could end at the last place. It would be a disaster, obviously, but
of
like
course.
it was possible. But surprisingly, we got like kind of good run, huge run, I would say. And it was, I think, it's a crucial moment for our team now
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that changes your mentality, clicking in the head,
Sure.
because uh, it changes basically your team status, I would say, because like now we understand that we can fight like on our high and when we are close to our ceiling
Mm-hmm.
in terms of performance, we can fight any team in the world. Like now we just have to work on consistency. So our floor is higher,
Okay.
basically. When it's a bad day, then we have to make sure we are performing like we are doing maximum we can.
Sure.
And yeah, it was just like huge. I didn't expect this to be. I mean, the group looked quite easy for us, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and especially Navi win, it was amazing. Obviously, we fucked up on stage, but
Mm-hmm.
like it is how it is. Uh, we, I think we failed as a team
Sure.
to handle the pressure we had. It should have been a support from from arena, from crowd, but like it turned into big pressure. Also, I think like the way we played in groups, the way we ended the group, uh, maybe it's been too easy, like to be honest. And it like after this, I think we kind of started to think about the trophy,
Okay.
already because it's like two BO3s away
Mm-hmm.
from one. Okay, one BO3 and one BO5
Yeah,
doesn't
sure.
matter. We are two matches away from taking home trophy. I think it would be a could be a first SR trophy for Furia
I think
at
so.
all.
Yeah.
Yes, like I think there were some like 8 year like Elisa
Mm-hmm.
previous year, but it could be like first big trophy,
Yeah.
for the organization for 7 years. And like I think it's something that uh, was hard to deal with because I think like we lost some focus. Like when you're
Fair enough.
start distracting, it's hard. And like
Yeah.
obviously like Mouse was a always is a tough opening because they have really good structures. They have really good understanding of what they do.
Hmm.
And like after they got slapped in group stage by us,
Hmm.
they did a huge work coming to semi-final, and like this is a team that always like in their average day, let's say, uh, like elite level teams, they always punish for small mistakes if
Sure.
they're not underperforming for some reason, you know. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, that's
I,
fair enough.
so it could be trophy, it could be 16th place, but I think the result is exceeded expectations, mine expectations. Uh, Also, it was like very important to have a good run
Hmm.
in Rio. Uh, we understood it because after Rio we took some break, and like while we were having this break, there was a race, there was Eliza, Thunder Peak, and like basically three tournaments,
Hmm.
pretty big tournaments, and now Blast finals as well. And because of 2025 thing, I mean, it's important to start the year in a good
Yeah,
position in Valve ranking. Yes, and if we failed in Rio, it's like then it could be a problem, you know, and
it's fair
we
enough.
might miss like how the calendar would look next year. Basically, the best teams will have an option to choose where they want to play, where they don't want to play,
It's
and
true.
the rest teams will just pick up what's left.
Yeah,
So
and
basically, yeah,
it's one of those things. I'm gonna come. We're gonna talk about that in just a moment, but I want to get your thoughts on CS2 at the moment as well. We're gonna talk about the scene in just a second, and a lot to discuss there. But what are your
yeah.
thoughts on Counter Strike? Because when CS2 first came out, obviously a lot of complaints. Everybody was talking about how the game is like broken and fucked and all the rest. But what are your thoughts on
Uh,
CS2 now? Do you think it's on the way up, or is there still kind of issues? I know recently jump smokes have been like kind of broken again. So what are your thoughts on Counter Strike 2 right now?
I mean, it's hard to say. I have kind of different approach from many people. I would say. I think like people like humanity will have to complain, like in
Sure.
general. So I would say that the game has been becoming better recently, like
Mhm.
way better. Uh, Valve doing something,
Okay.
it's good. Obviously, they could have done better, more, faster, but it's Valve. You can't like request too much from them. Uh, I think the game is obviously not perfect.
Mhm.
Like it's not in the even average state. It's very far away from CS:GO state. But like if if we look back, like how CS:GO looked after
Yeah.
a year after release, I think comparing to this, we are in pretty good position right now. I would say,
Yeah.
obviously, like a lot of to improve, and kind of annoying thing for me that Valve, obviously, I mean they do something right. They improve the game, but like there are a lot of crucial points to work on, and
Sure.
they're delaying them for some reason or just ignoring. That's annoying for me. Everything else that like okay, still better than Valorant. At least we
It's
have replaced.
true. And talk about the scene as well. How do you think? What kind of state do you think the scene's in at the moment? Do you think it's in a good place? Do you think we're on the right tracks as a whole? I mean, obviously, kind of, I guess a good comparison is Valorant. In comparison to them, it seems like we're in a very, very good place. But where do you kind of
Yeah.
think the scene is sort of at the moment?
I mean, competitive wise, I think like right now we are in the best place ever
Mm-hmm.
because the level like you can talk like about like Astralis run 5 years ago or something
Yeah.
like this. Yes, before that like Fnatic runs like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the level of competition, the like approach, and in general, everything was very different. I think like right now the level of Counter Strike is pretty high. I think we have kind of, as we already, as I said already, I think like we have a lot of decent teams.
Sure.
Like maybe we have around maybe 15 like really good teams, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like not perfect. Someone is not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Someone. missing something. It's always like this. But like we have a dozen of decent teams and like a dozen or two more teams that are like uh, biting,
Sure.
those high level teams
Okay.
from time to time. Like for example, Sungal, their development with Jumpy is like pretty noticeable, I would say.
Mhm.
Uh, Pain in their like in a good day, they're a very strong team. Like
Sure.
basically, they are like in a slump now, but
Mhm.
yes. Uh, so yes, we have a lot of good teams. We have the scene is in a good place, I would say. In that, mm, if we talk about like from that point of view,
Yeah.
uh, competitive wise, I think it's a good that mm, Valve cutting franchising basically. Uh, People say that not much would change, and like it
Mhm.
affects like maybe it could even create even like more franchising, because like
Yeah.
uh, the same team, the same tournament, like basically. But I think it's kind of fair to be honest. I don't know. The problem is how it would look like in fact, right? On paper, for me, it looking really good. I will explain now why. Because
Mhm.
I think it would create if it works how it should work, it will create a kind of healthy ecosystem with with basically stairs.
Okay.
Uh, when you have to start like uh, let's say from like lower level, and you will be grinding, and then you are like on a tier two lands because there will be a lot of land tournaments, right? Uh, and after this, like if you are good enough, you are in 32 teams. I think people reported that it should be 32 teams majors,
I
right?
think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Uh, so if you are good enough, then you are in the major. And 32 teams is a very different story from 24,
Mhm.
right? And like if you are good enough, you're on tier one lands, basically. Uh, the there are some questions like for me because let's say we will have a lot of tournaments next year. That's really good,
Mhm.
right? Uh, I think with that amount of tournaments, teams will have to choose like one out of two or one out of three
Sure.
tournaments from ongoing because you can't jump like from like you have to be very smart in terms of choosing events you play,
Yeah.
right? Because you may have no time to for preparation.
Mhm.
Basically, you may have your players like going into full burnout. You may have
Yeah.
like and if you miss a couple of tournaments and if they go unlucky way for you, like there's always like an unlucky way for you in terms of like
Yeah.
how things can work out. Like basically maybe five underdogs will be in top five
Mhm.
of the tournament, right?
Sure.
And then it fucks up the rankings totally. And then you are like already not on 15th place, but like on 30. Like what the fuck?
Mhm.
Yes. So how I see it, like we will have 30 to 40 teams
Okay.
uh, on tier one lands because of how stacked the calendar is. That's a lot, I
Yeah.
would say. That's more than we have now. Like obviously, like there will be different lands, like ESL Pro League, okay, but like let's say like there are I don't remember 24 teams on ESL Pro League next season.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, okay. But like meanwhile, we will have 16 more teams playing the PGL or something, Star Ladder or something
Yeah.
like this. Yes,
Yeah.
so it's already 40 teams on a tier one level. It's a good thing, I think. Also, we will have a smaller lands and like tier two online tournaments, and I think like basically we will have a uh, let's say a pool of maybe 40 more teams, I
Yeah.
would say, playing in smaller lands in online tournaments and earning like some ranking points, obviously, like not much, but like step by step. I think so. Basically, uh, it should be a good thing. for the scene in general, because like when the rules are clear, then like then it's easier for organizations to be in the scene, right? Like when you have basically uh, 15 partner spots in ESL, like 12 partner spots in Blast, and
Hmm.
a lot of those spots are like, being taken by the same teams, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are like a new organization want to get in, you don't understand like how. Okay, pay 1 million and we can get you a spot. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Pay 1 million to sign a good player, sign good players,
Hmm.
give them good salary. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, and you can end like AG if you're
Yes,
like incompetent. So
it's true.
kind of.
Is there sort of for you any worry on the other side though, especially because you've worked in like tier two teams, like kind of your Auroras and your Bet Booms and your Gamer Legions? Is there any worry that like it might be really difficult for tier two teams to actually move up in the rankings? Because there's a worry that with a lot of these tournaments like the Star Ladders, the PGLs, ESL Blast, etc., it's going to be the same teams basically filling out the vast majority of those tournaments. They might pick between one of the two, but it might be kind of the same pool of like, let's say, 30 teams, let's say, that pick between kind of like a Blast Finals or like a PGL tournament where there's like
Yeah,
16
I
teams each or
understand.
whatever. Is there a worry that like it might be really difficult for tier two teams and we might not get like those fairy tale runs, like where, you know, for example, we saw right at the start of the year win Blast in like the spring showdown, then went to the finals. We saw them make that Cologne run as well as they came through the invite to the play-ins, etc. So is there a worry that it might be really difficult for like tier two teams to actually get that sort of fairy tale run now that there's not really a true open circuit?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say. I mean, like we can only like predict
Yeah.
because like we don't know how it would work. And in fact, I think like it's okay because the problem we have now,
Yeah.
like something that worries me, is the ranking system. Obviously, like we can have a better ranking than Valve had now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a bit strange logic they have. But even with that logic, if you're like, okay, let's say you're like a borderline team, let's say around top 30,
Sure.
right? Then you are like getting some LAN invites, still playing, and but then like you come to two LANs, let's say for example, and you fuck up on the last place, and the system we have now punishes really hard
Mm-hmm.
for losing to like for like winning zero money or losing to like low level teams
Yeah.
basically, and then you are like already out of top 40. I think like I don't know. I think it shouldn't be a problem. Depends. We will see. But like
Mm-hmm.
in my eyes, like I I rate this system better than many other people do.
Okay.
To be honest, like maybe I'm a bit optimistic, but I think like it would be still better than what we have now because the rules are clear and visible.
True.
So for everyone, and like when you know the rules, it's easy to play.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Let's move on to you then a little bit as well. So I want to start with kind of an open-ended question, but what is your sort of best memory from Counter Strike or from esports in general?
Um, I think like winning IEM Cologne 2022
Sure.
with Faze, it was like uh, amazing moment to be honest because like the way we won it, uh, like, and it's I think Cologne and Katowice, two special tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, I couldn't feel uh, fully the Katowice victory because I was like with the team with Faze in Poland,
Mm-hmm.
and like then the war started and I have had to solve like different questions rather
Sure.
than enjoying the victory. And it was like a very hard moment of my
Yeah.
career. I think like winning the major was also like huge moment, but like I wasn't there with the team, so
Okay.
it's like not the if you're talking about like best memory,
Yeah.
then it's like I am Cologne for sure, winning I am Cologne,
Fair enough.
yes,
And then I guess
and
on the
then
other side, oh yeah, go on.
yeah, sorry, and I think second best memory to be honest, it was
Mm-hmm.
like when I was coaching Bedboom,
Mm-hmm.
qualifying for IEM Sydney playoffs. It basically like my first experience
Sure.
in front of crowd, and the Australian crowd
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. So it was like I think those are two best like, memories for me.
Okay. I like that. I like that. And then I guess on the other side, What's your sort of biggest regret from esports?
It's a hard question,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. Uh, I don't think I have any like huge regrets. Sometimes I maybe overthink
Okay.
and think that like maybe it was a very wrong step uh, to get in CS teams because CIS teams, sorry,
Sure.
because CIS and the European teams and like Furia is kind of close to be a European team, so not that much of difference.
Okay.
So basically, European and CIS teams have a very different approach, very different habits, and like uh, kind of CIS team scene is a bubble, I would say,
Yeah.
at some point because there are a lot of teams hunting for like several players, basically several high-level players,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like strange. It's a very strange situation for me, and sometimes I think I regret I went to CIS, but in the end, mm, I got good experience from it.
Sure.
Like right now, for example, if I have an opportunity, any like in future,
Mm-hmm.
to coach a team, to build a team from scratch, doesn't matter. Right now, I clearly know what I want from the team,
Mm-hmm.
like how I want, how I see it, and like what fits me, what doesn't fit me. Mm, so yes, uh, I don't think I have any like big regrets, to be honest.
Okay. Fair enough. And it's final one before we move on to sort of the Twitter and sort of Reddit
Actually,
questions.
actually, I think I have one regret,
Go on.
one huge fucking regret.
Yeah.
I think the moment I chose to switch to coaching
Yeah.
to join Aurora, it was like July of
Yeah.
2023, I think. Uh, by that time, I didn't know, like, I think nobody knew that Roban would switch to
Okay.
a general manager,
Yeah.
like, to basically will step away from coaching. He's still like in phase with the guys, helping them, but like
Mm-hmm.
in a different role. And like, I think this is my biggest regret, to be honest, because I often ask myself, what if, like, but maybe I don't want to know the answer.
Yeah.
Yes, Robin left. What if I was promoted to a face head coach?
Coach.
Yes, uh, that would be obviously a dream scenario. But
Yeah.
like the answer I don't want to know is like, what if no?
Sure.
Then I would be very upset
Yeah.
about these things in
That
general.
makes a lot of sense. That's fair
Yes.
enough.
So
Yeah, yeah. So it's one that you think about, but you don't, we
yes,
don't need to know the answer. That's fair enough.
yes.
Yeah. As someone who's worked with a lot of kind of talented up and comers, especially kind of across your career, is there any sort of hidden talent at the moment, or kind of stars that you think are going to be in the future, or have some sort of breakout year in the next couple? Is there any names that people are sort of kind of sleeping on, but you think are really going to be talented in the future?
I think, to be honest, it's there are a lot of talented
Mm-hmm.
players now in general. Like I think always there have been always a lot of talented players, but like CS is a very uh, I don't know the correct word, maybe cruel thing. I don't
Sure.
know because like the competition is very high. If you talk about players, like being talented is not enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe even being talented is nothing because not everyone is done, and you don't need like five donks in your team
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and like dedication, your motivation, your consistency, your ability to listen, improve, and like being open to new ideas, to criticism, and that's like more important than the talent. But like I think there are several guys with a kind of decent potential that
Okay.
people like uh, forgot about. I think Nilo from Metisport is still uh, he needs like to get in a better team under
Sure.
like maybe better guidance. Like no offense to Metisport, but like maybe he deserves a chance to be in a top 20 team, top
Yeah.
30 team, like consistent. Uh, I personally rate uh, several people like. is a Python, the
Okay.
guy who's been for a while on the French scene.
Hmm.
People forgot about him, but I think he's good one. He's like he could be good. Like he needs a
Sure.
chance. I think young Australian guy, Savage. Uh,
Sure.
it was very unfortunate for him to join Sprout Academy, and then a month later the team disbanded.
Yeah.
It was like, what fucking hell? It's
Yeah.
like I would like, I don't know. I would just, I would end CS career
Hmm.
after it. To be honest, like he
Yeah.
didn't. Yes, I think Keen, a Latvian guy,
Hmm.
he as well. He could be a good in game leader. He needs some guidance. I don't think like I can't say he needs a chance, but he needs uh, someone to trust in him, and then
Sure.
yeah, that's actually called a chance, right? I would
Hmm.
say. In CIS, it's Kiyosuke from Team
Spirit
Spirit
Academy.
for
Yeah.
sure. Uh, I mean, I could name a lot of nicknames from
Hmm.
Europe, but like, yeah, I think those people
Okay.
deserve a chance. I would say.
Fair enough. And we'll move on to a few from kind of Twitter and Reddit as well. So, a classic one that people always like to know is sort of what do you do outside of esports? Do you have any hobbies, any interests that are just not involved in gaming at all?
To be honest, like I have very limited amount of free time
Sure.
because like I'm a father of two. Like
There we go. That's a job in itself, really.
yes, exactly. So like I spend a lot of time when I have a chance. I can spend time with my family.
Hmm.
I like basically just started to basically my Portuguese lessons.
Okay.
Uh, Also, I like basketball. Yes,
Nice.
uh,
Nice.
I I was good like in basketball. 10 years ago, something like this. Now it's just like a hobby. Yeah, right.
Yeah, fair enough. Another one is how many languages do you speak? I know you kind of just mentioned you learn a bit of Portuguese, but how many languages do you speak?
To be honest, it's just Russian and English,
Mhm.
and like on a fluent level. Serbian, I didn't have enough time to. I mean, it sounds funny, but like,
Mm.
yeah, I have, I have had to uh, a lot of things to work on
Yeah.
in those 2 years. I live in Serbia. I've been
Yep.
living in Serbia for like 2.5 years already, but like uh, shame on me, but I can't speak like Serbian language properly.
Hmm.
I I think I can speak. I understand almost everything. I can speak uh, some, like maybe A2 level or something like this. So
Okay.
basically survival level, yes,
Yeah.
a bit more. But like I can speak Serbian properly because uh, I think I could, but I want to learn it in a good way
Sure.
because the grammar of Russian and Serbian are very different,
Okay.
and like somewhere the logic is completely opposite. So it breaks your brain.
Okay.
Like yeah, and like it's not something you can get in like just natively, and I don't have too much time to communicate on Serbian. Like, but my family they speak fluent Serbian, so everyone except me, and like sometimes it's just like, yeah, all right, they speak Serbian. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, fair enough.
nice.
Um, One that you sort of mentioned as well. Tell me about kind of you and Keserato when it comes to GeoGuessr.
Yeah, it was fun. It was just like I recently seen that he and Fallen playing Geoga,
Hmm.
and like I was like, come, Kesrata, I will fucking Geoga. Yeah, and I did. And I can't do it in CS, but I can do it in GeoGuessr.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Lucid asked as well why you're the second best coach or second best
Uh,
assistant coach.
yeah, this is a good guy. I think kind of we have good relations with him. I mean,
Mm.
uh, talking about Lucid, I think like he was also maybe one of the reasons I'm here, to be
Mm.
honest, because like when you're building, obviously it was a joke question, but like I just want to talk about Lucid a bit because
Yeah,
he
do
is
it.
like he deserves it. He's a good guy and he is like a good analyst coach, and so uh, because when you're building a system like this, like some with divided responsibility, I
Yeah.
would say you need right people like on the right spots, and I think Lucid is someone who has been working great on our city side, and like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just happy he's here, Furia, and we are on the same team.
There
That
we go.
we have like basically zero problems in our work process in general because of we having good team of Lucid, Sid, and me.
Fair enough. Another one is someone asked, what skill set does it require to be an assistant coach slash analyst compared to a head coach?
Oh, to be honest, I think it's uh, kind of question that has no answer because uh, we come back to the topic that every team is unique. Like every team
Hmm.
has their own structure, and the responsibilities can be divided in different ways between head coach, assistant coach, head coach, analyst, like head coach and two coaches, like basically. But like primarily, it's just like ability to uh, basically do anti-stretching, right,
Okay.
in a proper way. And moreover, it's not about the info you get from the demos. Like not obviously like it's always good.
Mhm.
Like for example, like I think like it's something that makes me at some point outstanding a bit. Like maybe sounds a bit like whiskey chago, but
Yeah.
like I think mm, I can find something that nobody else in the world can find in the demo,
Okay.
preparing for the opponent and use it against them. Uh, so basically, it's more a question about how you use the info you get, because you have not that much space to prepare for the game, because like your opponents also prepare. They might adjust their game. You have to think a lot, to care about a lot of things, like preparing
Hmm.
for the match, and like also your players, like they need to focus on their individual level, on like on game plan, on their communication,
Sure.
and like basically it's about how good you are in collecting info and giving, like filtering and giving this info to your captain, in
Hmm.
game leader, and like the players,
Okay.
basically, and the coach.
Fair enough. Same guy asked as well, what's the difference between working with an EU team compared to a South American team?
I don't know. I don't think like there's a big difference. I feel like Fury is pretty European team uh, by the mentality. Obviously, there's like things here are a bit easier for the guys because like the communication is on the native language, on their native language. So it's like uh, a bit easier for them to fix comms problems, I think,
Okay.
because like sometimes if you are like even if you are good enough in English, right, you might be not fast enough in
Yeah.
expressing your thoughts, I would say, and like or just not mm, exact enough, depends.
Sure.
So
Fair enough. And the kind of final question, I guess, of the whole thing is, uh, what do you typically look for when you're anti-stratting? What is kind of the signs that you sort of look towards? And then also, when you are anti-stratting, how do you make sure that you're not completely focusing on anti-strats when you're playing?
yeah, that's a good question, especially the last part of it, because like uh, it depends on the team you are in. A
Mm.
lot of there are like some flexible teams. I think like Heroic is one of the teams that like to prepare a lot,
Sure.
like to play a lot from the opening. Faze can play a lot from the opening, like if they find a good way to play,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to exploit basically opponents. But like in general, the most common teams like you have to focus on your game firstly.
Yeah.
Then you can do some adjustments
Mm-hmm.
basically based on preparation, and like you don't want to lose your game
Yeah.
first of all. Uh, Talking about what I focus preparing the match, I think like it's a hard question, to be honest. You are always looking for tendencies basically, but like the tendencies could be very different. It could be like for in the particular match, it could be like a timing, anti-eco, anti-force tendencies, or like uh, player tendency, like where you can like
Okay.
punish him for something. So it's kind of it's a difficult question. because like you're looking in general, you're looking for tendencies like that you can use. That's important. Like tendency that you see and you can't use is kind of, then you don't need this tendency of your opponent,
Okay.
right? But like it's very different from team to team. Also, like depending on matchup, like you don't want to think about like too much. If you know that team
Yeah.
is very hard in preparation, like, so they will surely adjust a lot of things, and then
Mhm.
like it's about mind gains more, like what they will adjust. Like hard to say.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I guess that
All
concludes.
always looking for a balance.
There
This
we
thing.
go. I mean, that sort of concludes sort of all the questions. So I'll leave the floor open if you want to shout out anyone or anything. But yeah, man, and that is sort of all of them. So again, appreciate joining. But if you want to shout out anything, now's your time.
Uh, I think one thing I missed. I think it's pretty. I mean, we were talking about like worry things that worry me
Mm-hmm.
in the next year ecosystem. Things that still worry me now and for the next year especially, because we have some strange teams and players in online tournaments.
Yeah.
Depends how they would perform on lands if
Mm-hmm.
they qualify for, and how much they would like uh, not let some other teams
Mm-hmm.
play in. I think like it's a topic like that people don't like to talk about too much. Like sometimes they talk, sometimes they don't, but like we have some problems with cheating
Yes, for sure.
in online part of CS, and like we will see how it would be affected, like how it would affect the scene in the
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Everyone like besides it, like just thanks everyone. Uh, support Furia.
There we go.
That's it. I think.
There we go.
I don't know.
Well, can't complain with that. Can't complain with that. Well, first of all, thank you very much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you
Yeah.
on.
Thank you.
And shout out to everybody watching as well. Of course, Innersh1ne's socials on the screen. There's also a link down below. So go and check them all out. But until next time, thank you for joining. Do all the stuff you do on YouTube, subscribe, etc., etc. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care.